What's up YouTube? Today I want to talk about the absolute slew of gaming news we've gotten this week. There are a lot of things that piqued my interest from all the events, and I want to talk about them today. This video is not going to be in order from least to most hype. I'm about equally excited for everything I'm going to talk about in this video, except for the last two things. But before we get into it, if you enjoy my opinion, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 500 subs by the end of the year. Anyway, enough promotion, let's discuss my most anticipated games. First game I want to talk about is Scott Pilgrim EX. Scott Pilgrim is a story that's near and dear to my heart. My first introduction to this franchise was playing the game way back when it came out in 2010, and from there I watched the movie, read the books, and then became a lifelong fan. This game is in similar style to the original, but this time helmed by the talented devs that brought us TMNT Shredder's Revenge, which is an excellent beat 'em up by the way. It also seems like this game is going to be a continuation of the Netflix series, because I noticed that Gideon and Julie are kind of in this trailer, which makes sense because season 2 got cancelled, sadly, but what better way to continue the story than through a game? Needless to say, if you're a beat 'em up fan, this game would definitely be a worthy addition to the collection. Keeping up with the beat 'em up theme, the next game I'm super excited for is Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I mean, beat 'em ups are my top favorite genres, and man, so far there's been a whole bunch of them announced. But anyway, this game simply looks like a really good beat 'em up, featuring some of my favorite characters from the Marvel universe. The sprite art and designs go crazy. Tribute Games, which are also the same people from TMNT, have been delivering non-stop bangers, and you know what? Good for them. I hope they keep getting that bag. Also, I really like the She-Hulk design. Call me a gooner, but you gotta admit, this shit's pretty good. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound looks like an incredibly fun high-octane 2D platformer. The sprite art is incredible and the movement looks smooth as hell. It's developed by the Game Kitchen. These are the same guys who are behind the masterpiece that is Blasphemous, which you should play by the way. So, with that being known, I'm fairly confident that this is going to be worth checking out. The game comes out quite soon actually, on July 31st, so who knows, there might be a future video on it. Subscribe. Another great looking 2D platformer is Shinobi, Art of Vengeance. This game is actually a comeback for a long dormant Sega IP, so that alone already piques my interest. Combine that with the absolutely stunning 2D animation and you have a recipe for what's looking like quite a fun time. It also helps that this is made by the Streets of Rage 4 devs, and like with Tribute Games, I have high confidence in the ability to make an outstanding product. This game also comes out pretty soon, August 28th, so hey, look forward to that. This game marks the first release of Sega's initiative of bringing back their older IPs. So if this game is good, then perhaps it's a good signal of the quality we can expect coming out of Sega. So this game actually does have a lot riding on it. Ill has been a concept that I've kept my eye on for a few years now. There was a YouTube channel uploading proof of concepts and the like for the game, and it all seemed pretty interesting. The monster designs are pretty freaky and it seemed like it had potential. Of course, at that point, there wasn't any real gameplay, so for all I knew, it was just a proof of concept. Well, looks like the game is actually real and it seems like it'll be an action horror game, perhaps in the same vein as something like The Evil Within. Either way, I'm always down for more horror games. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have a release date, but probably somewhere in 2026. For the very few of you that have been with the channel for a while, you would know that Tormented is one of my favorite indie games of the last few years. That game came at a time when fixed camera angled horror games were all but extinct. The game was an incredible breath of fresh air and was a great time. Well, seems like the game did well enough to warrant a sequel, and this game actually has a demo that released very recently. So I'll make mention of it in this video, but keep a lookout for a possible demo impressions video about the game. Alright, time for the last two games I'm looking forward to. And this wouldn't be an A-Rock video without mentioning these next two. Of course, I'm talking about Sonic Racing Crossworlds and Resident Evil 9. Let's start with Crossworlds since we know a lot more about that game. Sonic Racing Crossworlds looks like a lot of fun. Sadly, I wasn't able to play during the beta, but from the videos I saw, it looks like a very competently made racing game. And it seems like Sega are actually trying to make this game last long with a good online mode, unlike a certain Team Offline Racing. Package that with the crossover characters and you have a recipe for a very successful game. However, there is a big elephant in the room, and that being the price. This game is $70 for the standard edition and $90 for the deluxe edition. That is insane for a kart racer. I really think Sega should rethink that price point, and that's why I might wait for the game to go on sale. I'm sure it's fun, but it's not $70 or even $90 type of fun. Now for Resident Evil. I will make a more in-depth video in the future about this game, but for now I just want to say that the new Resident Evil game will certainly be an interesting one. Playing as the daughter of an Outbreak character was not something I thought would ever happen, but by far the most interesting thing is returning back to good old Raccoon City, now laid in complete ruin. I really hope that Grace isn't the only playable character returning to Raccoon City, because if you're going to return to Raccoon City, you need to have at least Jill be playable. Not only is it way overdue for her to be in a mainline game, but it would also be thematically fitting, seeing as Jill's most iconic adventure was through the streets of Raccoon City. Unfortunately, it's looking like it'll be another first-person game, but I can forgive that as long as the game is good. And with that being said, those are my most anticipated games coming up. There's a lot of good stuff on the horizon, and I'm hoping that every one of these games is something amazing. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.